Let's talk about the social media week, because it is highly anticipated.
Yeah.
What can we expect? What's going to happen during this week?
Well, you know, it's interesting because they did ask me to be on the advisory board, and part of that role is kind of giving ideas and giving direction and giving thought around the things that can be done. But the beauty of it is that it's really open to people, so anybody can kind of submit an idea for an event. I'm possibly doing a talk around content because that's kind of my area of interest. But I think what it'll be is a wonderful snapshot of social media, how it's being used in the country, how it's being used globally, and what can be done with it.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get this kind of broad range of voices and perspectives, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
So I see that it's happening in different countries
Yeah.
and main cities around the world, all at the same time.
Yeah. So I think it's about 20 different countries
Sure.
at that time.
Wow.
The first one happened on the continent was in Nigeria, was in Lagos, and that happens I think around March. So it's been running for about 2 years now.
Yeah. How does South Africa match up to the rest of the world in terms of social media? I threw out a figure a bit earlier saying that we've probably got about 5.5 million Twitter users here in South Africa. Is that about right?
I think it's about right, and I think also we tend to be the highest on the platforms across the continent.
Yeah.
For me, social media, too often we kind of become beholden to the platforms. So too often we talk about, how many followers you have on Twitter, or how many likes you'll get for something. I think for me the most important aspect is what you're using it for, and how you're using the tool. So it is interesting that I think South Africa does lead the way,
yeah.
but to a certain extent also it's how people are starting to use the tool with a bit more quality, if I can say that.
Yeah. In terms of the content that's being...
In terms of the content, in terms of the functionality, in terms of what you use it for. For example, a small business. If you have a small business and you're using Twitter, Facebook, etc. to build your business,
yeah.
For me, the important aspect is the content you're putting out and how that relates to your business. So it's a gradual process and it's work, but in terms of positioning yourself in your particular industry and your expertise within a particular industry, that's what you can use social media for.
Yeah, it's the biggest brand building tool out there. I mean, before you were reliant on other people doing it for you. Now you can do it yourself, but you can also run yourself.
Yeah, that's
a reality. And I think people need to be very aware that what you put out there stays out there.
Absolutely. I mean, I joined Twitter 2008 and watched a lot of people come onto it, and we tend to forget that what you put out there stays out there. But just as easily, in fact, it's a lot harder to build a brand, build a reputation, build a positioning with social media than it is